I'm like shoved off into the corner. Your body's on.
What's happening?
Hello, people out there.
Welcome, Brian and Melissa. Life Talks.
And we're talking to you on this Friday night live.
That's right. And we're back with our main squeeze, our pet, our companion, the love of our life.
The love of our life.
Emiliano. Yep, there he is. So he's been around for about a month now. And he's been in a couple of these Friday night editions. And so
love him.
Yeah, we're doing it up here with him. We're not in the sauna. Now, we did just do an ep with Jordan Couch, a musician who talked about being an authentic artist. Awesome show. Check that out on our YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And that was in the sauna, but it was like 88 today. So like just so sweaty. We'll be getting the sauna soon it's October now, so it'll be getting colder. We'll be getting back. We'll be in it.
We'll be sweating. And
so how was your week?
My week. Well, my week is like never ending. I've been working a lot this week, but there were some victories. Despite that, I was like lacking motivation at the climbing gym, but then I sent the climb that I was projecting. So I felt really great about that. So I dug deep and I persevered. How about your week?
Yeah, that was good. Good job again, right? Victories. I think you had another victory a couple weeks ago where you figured out to climb out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my week, it felt like it was 5 days. It was a good week. I was telling Melissa over dinner a little bit. Yeah, it was a good week. A lot of good things happening with students. I'm a teacher, and the atmosphere is pretty good in my classroom, which I like. A lot of kids are just funny. They crack me up. So you students rock out there. But yeah, just I'm ready for the weekend. So that's that.
Well, you work hard, you play hard, right? That's how you do.
We're going to start off as we had done twice before, I don't know, but we did some role playings and it's trending around the world. So people want it, of course they do. So
that's why there are millions of people watching us right now. They're wanting this stuff.
Right. So anyways, you had a role play idea. We did not discuss this. So do you want to go with that or go with the one I had in mind?
I'm going to put it out there and then we'll see. So because it's October, we're getting closer to the Halloweens. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, we'll go with a little theme. So here's your role. You are Dracula and you cannot find a date to the Halloween dance.
Oh, that is good. I don't even know how to respond to this. I can try. Now, Dracula...
I'm trying to be your friend, like consoling you, but you can't. You're like not consolable.
Okay, so Dracula, just give me the rundown again. This is just like Dracula's just like a count, basically, right?
Count Dracula.
Are we talking about the count?
Count Dracula.
Oh, we're counting about the Sesame Count.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to use that guy?
Yes, let's use him.
He is hilarious. Oh, I love that guy. My brother loves that guy. Okay, so I'm the Count.
You're the Count.
Okay, that's the Dracula.
And I can be a friend. Maybe I'm Big Bird.
So I'm trying to get you to go to...
No, you can't find a date to the dance, and I'm trying to console you. I'm your friend trying to console
I don't know how that's going to go. It'd be different if I was trying to get you on a date, Big Bird. But
Big Bird's a boy.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. So plus he's just so tall. Dracula would be like down to his toes. I don't know if that would matter, but okay. All right, so what's up, Big Bird?
Hey, just excited for Halloween. How about you?
Yeah, this is kind of my time, and I am Dracula, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is really good, but you kind of seem a little down. You're not your usual self.
Right. Well, if I were to count how often I've had a date on Halloween, well, the number is dismal. As dismal as my bedroom.
Oh, yeah. With bats flying and everything.
Yeah, which I'd love to count, by the way.
Can you count how many times you've not had a date to the Halloween dance?
Oh, now you make me sad. See, this is my problem. It's a lot. I'm immortal, as you know. And anyways, let's just say I haven't had a date in the last decade 10 times in a row. We'll go with that.
We can count to 10.
1, 2. No, you don't have to do that with me. Okay. So.
Okay, that was good. That was good. I thought, because he was counting, right? I thought that you might do a little Dracula.
That would have been better. Again, you threw me off. I wasn't prepared for this. and I could be
But that
better.
was good. Okay, do you want my other suggestion that I didn't
If
tell
you're
you about?
feeling it, we can go for it.
You're a kid, it's your birthday, but you're not, you're like in junior high and your mom's throwing your birthday and she's like embarrassing the heck out of you. And I'm your mom and I'm like,
Okay.
"Ah."
Okay. So what are you doing right now?
So we're at your birthday party, all
Okay.
your friends are around, and then so I can, are you
Okay.
ready?
Make sure I'm ready. Okay.
Timmy,
Ah,
smile.
Mom,
We need a
stop.
picture.
I'm like 12
Get all
today.
your friends together.
Mom, we don't do pictures anymore. You
What do
know,
you
that's like
do?
what
What do
you
you
do when
do?
you're
Everyone,
7.
everyone
We're out
does
of
pictures.
T-ball.
Put on your hat.
Mom, come on. We're in junior high now. All right. Mom, thanks for the, no, we're good.
Yeah, but I have this picture of when you were 2. It's so cute. Look at your little naked baby
Shut up, Quinn. You're not looking at it.
butt.
Put that away, Mom. That is a long, that baby doesn't even exist anymore. I'm a man now. Almost.
Oh, my little man.
Stop. I hate that.
You're a pretty good 12-year-old. Good job.
I could deeply relate with all of that right there. So
Was
it
that
was pretty
yours?
easy. I was almost acting as I would today, probably.
And I don't know if your mom doesn't do that now.
No,
I don't know if
no.
your mom was ever the type to do
Here's
that.
the thing though, like being a boy, and it's not even actually me, my mom per se. I think it's just anything embarrassing or like I know those feelings because I've lived with my whole life. Now, embarrassed, I'm not thinking anything specifically, but I know what it's like to be like I don't like this. You know what I mean? I know what it's not to be me and not like something. So it's easy to act.
Yeah, that's true. Because you don't like to be like center of attention. And so you would kind of hate like all of that
Right.
hype.
I don't like people scruffing my hair like that, you know.
He doesn't even like it when I
Ah!
do
It's a natural, like,
that.
I mean, it's not whatever. It is what it is, but
Okay, whatever. Well,
okay.
let's get into the show today then,
Okay.
since you don't want me to scruff up your hair. Scratch your little beard.
Okay.
Okay. We had a that's why we need a real pet so I can scruff someone up. We had a submission for a topic from one of our fans. Thank you for submitting that on our Instagram page. Be sure to check that out for the rest of you.
Mhm.
We would love to have suggestions on topics. And today the topic was about singlehood. So the Count Dracula thing kind of fit in. Yeah, I didn't actually plan that, but I saw that later and I was like, oh, that's a cool connection. This person asked if we could talk about whether or not singlehood is a punishment. And I think that's really good because I bet a lot of people feel like it is a punishment. Like, what's wrong with me? What have I done wrong? Or
Mhm.
why am I not good enough to have a
Mm.
relationship?
Yeah, yeah. And just real quick, so this person gave us a lot of great suggestions. So we're just going to take on one today, but we may do some more of their suggestions in the future. Okay, so if you've seen some of our past videos, I was single a long time. Okay, how long time? Let's just put it out there. I want to say again, dated high school into college, and then there were some dates. We're talking like 5 or less, probably, because I was a really like I'm not going to date this girl unless she really it's just like, yeah, I would discern. So I would pray, okay, like God, should I date? So I was one who really would shy away or turn away a lot of opportunities, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, it was just like it wouldn't happen. And I felt like that was what I was supposed to do. Okay. So I was single for like, I think like 17 years of adulthood. So I got married at
39.
39, guys. That was last year, folks. How old is he? So it's just like, yeah, or just we're not quite to a year, but yeah, a
It's
lot of years. Okay, so did I feel like it was punishment? Hmm. I don't think so. No. And I would definitely first out, that's probably a common thought people have, but I would straight up deny that that's the reality. Like God isn't punishing you. Okay. Even if you don't believe in a God, well, then what is there to punish you? I guess maybe punishing yourself. I don't really know, but no, 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 I don't believe that at all. I think, everyone's on a different timetable. I think we probably make decisions that can delay it. It's like, is it Augustine who says, St. Augustine, um, it's not that God's not willing to give it to us, it's that we're not actually ready to receive it. Okay. And there's so many things. Gosh, everyone has a different walk because I've had friends get married at 21, right? Or whatever it was, 22, 21. Yeah. So anyways, just in all ages in between, I went to like 9 weddings or 10 weddings. Everyone's getting married. And I was just like, don't throw that stinking, what are the garter at me? Like, by the 10th, you don't even want to be in the room anymore. Like it's gotten old. It's almost like my mom doing this over and over. It gets old. Like I've done that. Like I've seen that picture since I was 2. or whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, so definitely don't think it's a punishment. I think people need to like go to the Lord, discern like, why am I single? Maybe saying, well, your time's coming if it's going to be a marriage call. So maybe it's coming, but maybe he wants to do something else. I did like a lot of different things. I'm not saying I lived the perfect life, but I tried to stay busy with what I thought he was calling me to do. So I did youth ministry. I coached, obviously working full time, right? So I tried to like, I wouldn't do all of that, the coaching and the youth ministry, like nights and weekends. If I was married and had kids, I wouldn't. I'd be home with the kids, raising them probably, right? Maybe a little bit of volunteer work. But so, like what is he calling you to today? And all the kids coaching and volunteering, and I did like other stuff too. All the people I ran into because I wasn't dating someone. Now, a lot of people just date anybody. Those are all those people I just talked about, like that was really good. I would have missed all of them because I would have been out on the wrong date because I never said, Lord, should I even go down this avenue with this girl, whether she appears good or not? Obviously, I would only go for probably one that appears good. And there were a few like, wow, I think, Lord, it's lining up. I think there's a lot of things. And he would tell me no. And that was hard to stay at home. And I'd be like, I don't think I'd ever say, are you punishing me? But I would say, why? Or I'd say, when, oh Lord. And it's only by his grace. Like you really need his grace because you singles who've been single for a while, I mean, you just hit those. It's like, yeah, you just hit those moments like the desire is overwhelming. Like I've wanted this for years on end. Like nothing's changing. Like, what am I doing? Like at moments, it doesn't even matter if you're single for that matter. It might be about a job. But anything. So yeah, just kind of gotta stick it out. I'll let you talk a bit, but I have so much on that because literally 17 years of adulthood. Like I lived it. I know it more than I know marriage for sure. Right. Like this is just, oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing because um, one thing that comes to mind, something that you were able to do, not that you couldn't have done this with, a girlfriend, but I just hear how you and some of your friends and family talk about like the gang that would hang out every single week,
Mhm.
right? So your brother, his wife, and one of our other friends, like those memories for them are really precious in their heart and in their mind, and they talk about it all the time at how almost not that they were the glory days, but they were such a highlight in their life. And it just seems like there was so much good that came from that. And so I really do think there may have been some really good purpose in that. Not that that made it easy for you or the other friend, but it really developed deep bonds between y'all that you might not have had otherwise. So I see that as someone who.
Yeah. And just to comment real quick, like all those other guy friends, I mean, we have like a good sized man group. We had those years up until that next guy fell, as we would say, another man down, right? But you're right. Whatever delay. I mean, I had a couple friends that get married at 28. Like that's a little while, right? A little while. But that many more years with them and great times so that you would, yeah. Now the question is like, would I still, in those times, like I'm ready to abandon this and go get her. I love my guys, and I actually had a grace to stay single. I really saw like the good of it, even while I desired her. But yeah, good times.
Yeah. And then I'll just close with a few things. I don't think it's a punishment, but definitely, what's up, Kaylee?
Kaylee, our girl, good to see you.
Number one fan. We forgot to send her that check for all of the comment. I mean,
Oh
wait,
yeah,
I
never
was supposed to
mind.
say that. Well, delete. Oh wait, it's live.
Yeah.
But yeah, being single, I was single for a long time too. Except for I did date a few people like in my 20s, and I wish I would not have, um, because I had a hard time saying no, just because I didn't want to like be mean or hurt anyone's feelings. So I got into relationships I wish I never would have gotten into. So for me, singlehood, the times that I was single was actually a great blessing because I was not in a relationship that I shouldn't have been in. And those were the times where I was like, thank you, Jesus. I just have my alone time with you. And I don't have to worry about this anxiety in my heart of not following God's will. And so, I really appreciate this person who submitted this question because obviously it was heavy on his heart. And we have a lot of friends who are single,
Yeah. It's
various ages, 20s, 30s. And one of our friends we interviewed, he's still single. And is he in his 40s?
Yeah, and I have another, I think he's in his 50s. Like that guy is a soldier,
Yeah.
I mean,
And you never know what plan God has for you. I mean, even people like I think of St. John Jagan, who started a religious order. She didn't find her vocation until she was in her 40s, and she's a saint now because she had the patience to discern God's will. Though it was hard, what she did was she turned her loneliness into service of others, and she changed the lives of so many French men and women who are going through the French Revolution. And so you never know what good can be done from that hardship.
Yeah, and you can't predict the future. Like, you can't go, well, 2 more years and I'll find him or her. Like, you all you can do is be in the moment. And, like, this is a message for everybody on earth, right? All we can do is be present to the moment. Like, we can pray. The Lord knows our prayer. We can continue to utter the same one over and over, and I think we are growing through that. But yeah, you got to just embrace the moment, right? And
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to find a quote from C.S. Lewis. He in a line he capitalizes time, the word time, because that's when he identifies God, eternity meeting humanity, and that's what we call time, is the intersection between God and humanity. And so that time is only now, when God is with us now. And I think that's very to me that's very beautiful, and it emphasizes the importance of being here now and not in the future or the past.
It's great. You can apply that to anything too, like work on just working to get home at night. And no, no, God is actually right there with you at 2:22 at work. Like, that's the only place you really should want to be, because that is where he is. He's not at home yet. He'll go home when you go home. Like, so to speak. He's always present. And I just had a thought pop in my mind. So we talked about 30s, 20s, 40s, 50s, like, and then there's the older population that's single. Maybe it's a widow situation, a divorce, whatever it is. So definitely want to think about them too. And the same thing I would say is just, yeah, try to be present. And if that's something that's a God given desire, He'll work it. He'll fill your heart. And a wife and a husband, we grow up like not idolizing, but it's big in the teen world. I work in the high schools, like, it's like, where, like, it's just like, but that's actually not our number one. God is our number one. And if you idolize a guy, or, a wife or whatever, husband, it's just like, it's not going to be fulfilling. You're not actually correctly ordered, And the one takeaway I can say, I don't know if this will help the older generation. For my many 17 years of singlehood and adulthood, I learned by God's grace, like, there was just so many things I did by myself, like snowboarding and like trips here and there, just even just going to friends. It's always me going home, like, where else would go home with their spouses or whatever. It would be like so much time with Jesus, right? So many hours of, like, in the adoration chapel. But I just learned he's my number one. Now, I've never been married and then lost. Like, I don't know who will die first here, but like, that's probably different for a widow. But I definitely learned in that time, like, he is my only. Like, sorry, he's actually on top of you. Like,
That's
like,
good. I
I
like
just
that.
know that. And I always said that when I was single, like, if she dies, I still know I can go on, because I had tremendous peace. Like, it was a struggle at times, but I still had like this overwhelming grace, because I was praying, I was following him, not going on all these random dates. Like, I was trying to stick to his will. And even though that was hard to walk that path, I knew I was doing what was right. And that was so comforting. And then I also felt him near, because I was trying to follow him. Of course, I messed up at times, but yeah, that's kind of that.
Hmm. Yeah. So, to all you singles out there, young, middle age, or old, we're praying for you, because it's
Yeah.
not easy.
Yeah,
And we've been there.
and we do pray for singles. Like, I used to, I think it started 3 years ago before I met you. I went down on a knee every day for a minute. I started praying to, so we're Catholic, but I would pray to God. Obviously, I would ask Mary for her intercession, Saint Joseph, right? Because I want to be a good husband. So, help me be, like that. So, anyways, and then, like, I mean, it was 2.5 years, and then I got you, right? But I've still continued that prayer, because it was such a habit, and we've been married for 10 months, whatever it's been, 11. I don't know, but
10.
yeah, and I still am doing the prayer, and then now it's like a prayer of thanks, but I'm also still praying for my single friends and whoever is out there that I don't even know. We have some people in my family, cousins and stuff. Like, it's just like, yeah. So maybe something to try.
Yeah, hopefully that's an encouragement to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because we know. And one final thought before we wrap up to Anthony O'Neal's post, if you know who he um, is that, yeah, marriage is amazing. I love this man, but it's not easy. So cherish those single days, because those sacrifices are real, even though we're best friends. Well, I feel like you're my best friend. I don't want to speak
Oh,
on
thanks.
but it's not easy, and it's not like it's the answer to everything. So again, no matter what vocation or where you're at in life, if it's not God first, then it's not going to be good. So,
Yeah, like anything, you buy a toy, and a human's way more valuable, by the way. But the honeymoon stage, whatever, like, we have it really good. We really
mhm.
do. We're blessed. But everyone has the rough days. It's like sometimes, yeah, you could almost say this day is no different than when I was 24 and I had a hard day at work. Like, like, it's just, that's how we do. Like we just settle into the next thing, right? And one day I'll be like, oh, I want kids, and eventually have them be like, oh my gosh, right? So you just gotta like, there is no heaven on earth. Like you can have fun moments or whatever, but those moments can happen in any vocation. And marriage isn't like getting all these amazing moments that singles are not. Like I had so many graces in my singlehood, and I would say my days. I wouldn't even like really say like I enjoy being with her. It's like time for this to happen, but I wouldn't say like, oh, my marriage days are like this and my single days were like this. I really wouldn't, you know. And that's not a like a cut down. It's just like that was God holding me to that point. Now, if I didn't have God, all my days would be down. But like, you know, like, yeah, it's not heaven, but you know, his grace can sustain. So
Right.
we could talk about that forever. A
We could.
lot of
A lot of experience in the single life.
oh my gosh.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So we'll move on to Anthony ONeal. Have you heard of this dude? If not, you should go check him out on Insta, YouTube, DaveRamsey.com.
Probably can't see that for nothing. But yeah, he worked with Dave Ramsey and the team, right? And then I think 2 months ago they parted on good terms. He still like loves them like a family.
And he's still on his website, I think.
Yeah.
Some links.
Oh yeah. And I use their curriculum actually at school. It's not a commercial for him, but Anthony's in a lot of this stuff that teach kids like finances and stuff. Anyways, now he has his own show. And he does finances, but he also just does real life. Like speaking of singlehood, look this guy up. Like he has a lot of apps because he's single and like he's always talking about, you can tell it's on his heart. This guy he's great. He's just great to watch. So
I don't know if he's a preacher too.
oh man,
but
seems
he
like
says
it.
he has like given sermons,
Yeah.
so at least he has preached. If he's not like a pastor or preacher, he has done that before.
Yeah.
So he just brings it. He's on fire for the Lord and he loves a good budget.
Yeah. And I would say I don't know, actually know. Maybe he's 30, maybe he's late 20s. I don't actually know. You could look it up, but just to get to his age. Okay, so he put a post out. This is like a week and a half ago now. And you sent it to me. Okay, so we're gonna kind of just dive into this. So he writes, God did not create us to, first point is hate waking up. I think I'll read them all and then we'll hit them. Okay. So hate waking up, work 9 to 5 until we die, come home every night and watch reality TV, go on vacation for 2 weeks a year only, be unhappy in our relationships, live paycheck to paycheck, talk about them and not our goals. Okay, so those are his points. So we'll dive in and see where it goes, you know. And so let's start with the first one. God did not create us to hate waking up.
Of course not. And that reminds me of what I'm reading right now. I'm reading through Lamentations, and I just read, was it yesterday? A beautiful line. Every morning, your mercies are new. Right. So every morning, God gives us new graces to start again. It's not just like some like happy go lucky mantra. Today's your day. Start fresh. No, God actually allows us to wake up in the grace of his renewed mercy and love for us. And so, yes, Anthony's correct. We are not meant to wake up hating life and dreading what we're going to do next. We're meant to just be gifted and blessed with this day.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it to reality. First, I had a funny comment. If anyone's ever seen Jerry Maguire, Tom Cruise back in the day, I always remember that coach where they would like have little segments of him. It was like his old mentor in college or something. But anyways, one of them he's like this old guy who sits at a desk, right, the whole time. And they just like show like 10-second clips of him. One of them's like, I love getting up in the morning. It's a fresh day or something like this. And I used to literally try to do that to kind of psych myself up mentally to get up. I think he even thought of it like this past week, like when you're kind of like he's like, I love to wake up.
How many people can say that? I love to wake up.
And here's the thing, like that looks great in Hollywood, and sometimes that would work, and I could like give myself the laugh. But you need something in the heart to actually go, I'm getting up with a purpose, and that's different. Like I can't get up and just go after it if I don't believe that I'm doing something for some reason. Again, with us, clearly you guys can see it always comes back to God. You know, like I feel like I have to. He is my purpose. And even if I'm just doing a job I hate, which is a season, we've all had those jobs, right? Like if you know what you're doing, just like single, if you know you should be single, even though you don't like it, like there is this extra grace, like, okay, I don't want it. We know what my dreams are, but at least I know I'm where he wants me to be. I'm in his presence because this is where he is. He's not over there or in this other job yet because I'm not actually supposed to be there yet, even though I desire it.
Right. And that's totally goes with today's feast day, St. Teresa Lisieux, my girl, the little way, right? That's what she was all about, like being happy where you are, because that's where God wants you to be. And that is something that like, it just takes a lot of grace. And we have to actually pray for that desire to be happy where we're at. And we have to actually ask God to help us to be happy where we're at. And that's what it means to live our vocation, is to be pursuing his love in this moment, no matter if I'm cleaning toilets, if I'm helping the sick, if I'm researching a cure for cancer, or I am delivering mail, like I do my vocation is love, as she says.
Yeah. And I remember working as an accountant, a tax accountant, and it was freezing in February. I'd get up at start at like 5 in the morning in my house. I'd work a couple hours, then I would drive to work another
Terrible.
12 or whatever it was. Um, and I wasn't very happy about it. I'm trying to like apply this because there's people out there. My job's good now, but like there are people out there who this hurts. Like it's hard to get up. So I don't like we're not just gonna just pray to God, because it feels real. So I want to offer the
Mhm.
idea of suffering. Okay. It's real. Like it's gonna hurt sometimes. Sometimes we don't want to get up, even in our current jobs where you're just tired, you're sick, whatever. I'm run down, like I had horrible sleep,
I'd
whatever it
worked
is.
60 hours one week. I've had 2 days off in the last, so this month I'll have had 2 days off in a month.
Right.
I'm, like, tired.
Yeah, that's the real. And that is also, I think, to know, like, if people like run from suffering and deny it, like, this shouldn't happen. I shouldn't hurt. You're living on a different planet. This is a planet that's fallen. Like, we still suffer here. So, like, if you can acknowledge it, I think it helps. Like, yeah, this does stink. And this is part of actually living. Take it or not. But, keep pushing through because God is faithful. He will get you to the promised land, whatever that is.
And I think something else that before moving on to the next topic, another video from Anthony, he said you have to have a clear vision. And he applied this to finances, but he also says for your whole life, you have to have a clear vision. So if we, especially as Christians, don't have a clear vision that we are on a mission and that every day is our mission to pursue God's love, then we're not going to want to get up. But what gets us up in the morning is like, I have a mission to help bring teenage souls to God. That's my job.
Mhm.
And that's what gets me out of bed, even when I'm so tired. I feel like I'm going to fall over right now. But like, that's my
Right.
mission, right? And that's the
And
motivation.
that's deeper than like an idol, which would be like a paycheck. I mean, I'm motivated to make money. I am. I want to move out, have a nicer whatever. But that would be an empty one. But
Mhm.
to help a teen, like that's something that's life, right?
Mhm.
That's getting to the heart. I think my friend Ryan, he always said this is a fun tip. Always have something just you're working to. You're going to a concert in a month or something like that. That's a good tip too, something
Mhm.
like that. You're gonna go out to eat dinner at the end of the week. That
Right.
helps to get
There's a
through.
dangling carrot.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little something there. All right. Next point was God did not create us to work 9 to 5 until we die. Interesting. I have to consider this one a bit. What do you got from that?
Well, theology of the body tells us that there is dignity in work. That work helps us develop the habit of virtue. So we learn self control, we learn perseverance and fortitude. So I do think that work is important, even beyond like surviving, but just for our human growth. Because I know I have grown from jobs that I like and jobs that I don't like, right? But a 9 to 5, I almost wish I had a 9 to 5, to be honest. Sometimes it'd be nice to be able to say, I'm going to go home at this time every day and I can live my life and have friends more often.
So
I see them more often.
yeah, so she works kind of odd hours,
Right.
as you can tell.
But I don't think we are meant to work every day of our life necessarily and not enjoy life. Maybe that's, can I read between the lines?
Yeah, this one's a little tougher for me to understand. God not create us to work 9 to 5 until we die. Maybe that's a mindset. Like I'm just a 9 to 5er. I'm a 9 to 5er. I work bank hours. I don't know. Just like I don't know. Maybe that's one interpretation. Like this is what I do. I work every day and then I die. Maybe it's kind of a depressing view, but
Maybe, yeah, maybe he's trying to say like we're meant to do something more
there's more
than
to it.
just work 9 to 5, punch in our card, clock out,
Yeah,
maybe have some purpose behind our work.
right. And if you
Mm.
don't feel that, a lot of people switch jobs all the time, but really, again, we would say pray like, Lord, is this the right job? Which direction? Because there's endless jobs to like hop to, just like dates, right? um, yeah, but where are you really calling me? Because he knows where happiness is. And often it's what we don't actually see coming. Like, well, this one pays better and has better insurance, but what is he saying, right? He's the author of life. He knows what you need. So, all right, let's move it on. Yeah.
Mhm.
God did not create us to come home every night and watch reality TV.
What about non-reality TV? No.
We are a non-reality in this reality. Yeah, I mean that's blown up TV. So when did TV come out in the 50s, 40s? I don't know, but now it's gotten so crazy. I mean, the content that is available 24/7, and we're content too, by the way. Hopefully, this is quality for you.
That's kind of our dream, is that we have quality content out on the airwaves.
Right. We're hoping your mind will grow in a good way and your heart will grow too. You'll be touched, and the Lord would work through this. Do something that we can't do ourselves. But yeah, reality TV, right? What a bunch of nonsense, and we've all been sucked into it. I'm not saying I've never watched a show. It's just like it's constant.
It is. Maybe yeah, we're not supposed to come home every night and watch TV. Um, thanks, Ann.
Love
Highest
that girl.
quality.
Love her.
Like. um, but we are meant to do other things after work. Like after work, you're tired and you just want to veg out. We get that. But maybe we're not meant to just come and veg out and totally tune out. We have responsibilities. We still should be growing. We should be connecting with our family. Maybe that's what he's saying in this one. And maybe we shouldn't be taking in so much junk because
Right.
we're influenced by what we
I think of my
consume.
teens all day long, guys. They're on their phones, even in school, in the halls, in classes when they can sneak it all day long. They're taking in content. If they're taking in TikTok, that's not the best educator. Like just the stuff. There are good stuff on there. By the way, we're on there. Just got on there. We're experimenting a bit. But like there is good stuff out there, but the problem is there's so much trash out there, just like reality TV. There are good shows, good documentary about dolphins. Like, there's a nice pocket of time where that's probably smart to watch and whatever. But there's just so much trash, and how do you filter it? And I think the next thought I had was like, how are we living? Kind of like you were saying, how are we living our evenings? Should we reorder them? Like, get outside, start doing things that are kind of more natural to our body, get the exercise, have the family time without the TV on, the dinner at the table, like things that we don't generally choose because the entertainment's always there. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't really watch. I watch TV like twice a month, so
Isn't that crazy? So, okay. So before I got married, I did watch more. And I'm not like a TV fanatic, but now I watch way less. When she's in the house, I'm like, this has to be off because I know she wants the silence, which I get completely. We're on different time schedules with our jobs. So, like, I only have a limited window where I can watch it and take it. Otherwise, like, as it gets close to bedtime, like, I can't hear this. So I get what she gets when she's coming in. But yeah, I watch way less when you're around.
Thank you, sweetie. Only because I've like cried. I haven't cried about it, but I'm like,
because like
I go a
we're
little
like
crazy.
no more screen time is what we're like because we're on the computer all day.
Mhm.
And so what's that resulted in? I think a lot more book reading, and it pushes me to prayer a lot more, which is great. I love that. So that's a huge benefit. Okay, next one. You want to read?
Go on. Okay. God did not create us to go on vacation for 2 weeks a year only. I'm liking this guy more and more. I like vacations a lot. He can attest to this. I generally, moving here has been different. My past patterns was to go somewhere on a hike or go out almost every single weekend. Not out to the bars. Every once in a while I'd go to the bars, but I needed to get out and go see the mountains or go to a river, like go on a hike. It's very limited here, but if I don't do something like that, if I don't get outside at least once a week, I kind of go crazy. Um, and so I really like the fact that he says to go on vacation often.
Right. Now the reality is, well, I only get 2 weeks off. I get that reality. Okay. So that is the reality. So what can we do about that? Maybe make a business of our own. I don't actually have an answer for that because it's true. Most jobs you're getting like maybe 3 weeks with holidays. There's some jobs. I think my buddy John's got 5 weeks off. I'm like, oh my
Oh
gosh,
my
I'm
goodness.
going to work there. But yeah, and I think I take this from a different angle. Okay, so to go on vacation for 2 weeks a year. When I hear this, it might be what you're saying, but I also hear like to live for vacation 2 weeks a year. Like, I'm not working and living just to go on vacation. Like, this
Mm.
isn't my purpose. It gets back to purpose. And I know that feeling because vacation is so limited. I remember after college going into the accounting career, like I literally had 2 weeks of vacation a year, and maybe a couple 5 holidays or whatever it was. And it was like, there's no break. There's no end. You're used to like Christmas break and all these things you'd have in college and high school and all their K-12 education. And that was tough. But to live for that, I have friends, and we've all done it too, by the way. I'm still guilty of it, like living for vacation. It's just like I try not to do that because that's depressing. It's a letdown. There's not enough days off of the year to like actually get that, like to actually be like, I'm gonna reach that. It's gonna be amazing. Now, here's a little cider. I'm a teacher. I get the summers off, guys. And now every summer I've had to do like grad school. It seems like I haven't had a summer off yet, honestly. But I do have a lot of free time. And even with that, okay, I am benefiting from it. Even with all the time off, because people are probably like, what's it like, man? What's it like? It is good,
Mhm.
but you do settle in. You like start to settle in, and now your days are not like I'm not going to the school to do work, but you are on a new routine, and like you still have things to do, still have stressors. It's amazing. It's not all bliss. That first week is pretty blissful, maybe a few days, but it's not all bliss, and they're like it's kind of crazy. Like it's a catch 22 almost. Again, it's not heaven. Vacation even, which is great. We know that feeling when you've been working a long time, you've earned it. You can enjoy that lot and have that sweetness, and you've earned that. But a long extended, there comes a point where like you need to do something, even though you're off. You need to do something. I wonder what retirement's like.
Right. Yeah, so I hear a lot of people say that they're more busy, or they're busier when they're retired than from when they were working, because they have to do stuff to keep them occupied. And again, there's dignity in work, and so when you're not working, it's like, well, what's my purpose? What am I trying to fulfill here? Um, Yeah, I feel like I could vacation forever, but
Yeah.
maybe I don't think I could, but, I would want to
Okay.
do something purposeful. Like, I don't think I could just go sit on a beach forever, right? If I'm gonna vacation, I also want to be meeting people and having contact and going to mass and pilgrimaging and,
Yeah.
um,
You'd
things
have to
like
do
that.
something. A kid asked me today if I won $1 million if I'd stay teaching. I was
Oh.
like, well, first of all, a million's actually not enough. It actually isn't. At my age, maybe if I was 50, it would get me through. But I'm like, if it was 5 million, I'm like, well, I would definitely still have to have a purpose. I couldn't just be like, do nothing. Like, I feel like I'm gonna hit judgment seat one day, and God's be like, even if I had $5 million, what, you just went on vacations all your life? You didn't do anything for my kingdom. You didn't serve anybody. You didn't help anybody in the food kitchen, anything.
Mhm.
So I definitely have to do something. I would have that consciousness. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't have that consciousness, and they can like get away with it. God bless them. I don't know. But yeah, I'd have to do something, I think. And
Mhm.
I am going to throw in a disclaimer. And just like you said, even though with my long summers, I never got tired of being on vacation. But there are teachers that shock me that are like, I'm ready to go back. I'm like, I've never been ready to go back. I like my job. The kids are great, but I don't know. And unless the Lord takes that grace away from enjoying my vacation, I love being off, even though I stay busy in other areas.
That's funny.
So much you
Uh,
can unpack, but we're going to try to keep it rolling. Getting down to the end here. Okay. God did not create us to be unhappy in our relationships. Sort of covered this.
Duh. I mean, God desires our happiness, and everything about God is relational. So He wants relationships for with everyone, with everything, and for everyone and everything. So, and He wants goodness in all of it. So that's good. I don't know. Are there people who want unhappy relationships? I don't. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Paul says, I think it's Paul in the Bible. He says, like, do everything you can on your part to keep peace. I'm totally blowing this, but to keep peace with everyone, right? So do your best to try to make those relationships healthy, but you can't control the other party. And that's where it gets hard, as we all know. We
Right.
have that, right?
Oh, and something that Anthony said on another podcast is like, I I can't remember how he said it, but like to have quality relationships. Like you can't have a relationship with everyone, but you should have a close core group of people you can have a deep, meaningful relationship with, because that takes work, it takes effort, and so you can't just have that with everyone. You really do have to have a limited number of close relationships because they take a lot of energy,
Yeah. And the line,
which is good.
yeah,
But
be unhappy in our relationships. Now, if you're in a marriage and you're unhappy, that's work. You've committed. That's a marital covenant, right? Unfortunately, divorce is a big thing. But you want to try to keep that marriage. That's what you entered an oath basically in front of God if you got married in a church. So that's a relationship you want to stay in, even though it might be unhappy at moments. What I'm trying to say here is there's a difference between like I'm unhappy in this relationship, a person I'm dating. I think Anthony may be saying, get out of it. Like if you're truly unhappy and it's not something because you're doing the wrong thing on your end, like you just know, like this isn't right, but you hold on because maybe you're desperate, or I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but like, or like there's no one out there. I know that feeling, like I'll just stay with this person, just like, yeah, I think
mhm.
he's saying like, hey, if it's bad, get out if it's can. But if it's a something like a family thing, like the marriage or a son or a daughter, that's something you have to work on. That's
And get help. Like,
yeah.
there's a lot of counseling for marriages, there's a lot of counseling for individuals. Like, we need help to have healthy relationships. Next one. God did not create us to live paycheck to paycheck. Did God create us to even like have to have money to just eat good grass fed beef? Do I have to spend my whole paycheck on organic meat.
Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. Live paycheck to paycheck. So that's the big thing at Dave Ramsey, right? The quote is something like 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Okay, so that's a sadness. So that means 8 out of 10 viewers right now would be, or whoever views the show would be living paycheck to paycheck, if that data is correct. And that's a tough thing. So I think Anthony's probably saying, as a finance guy, like start doing their baby steps, or get an emergency fund, get the credit card paid off, get the student loans out, right? Don't buy a car with a loan on it. Pay cash for a beater that at least is paid for, and all these things. So taking the wisdom and applying to your finances.
Yeah, I already forgot. Oh yeah, paycheck to paycheck. I was like, yeah, it's just miserable. So,
and also I would just say, like, idolizing it. We talk about it because we want to pay this mortgage off, and we were just talking about it last night. Like, oh man, we got these bills and da 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 da. It's like I just want to pay this thing off so bad, but like, am I just living to paycheck, or like idolizing the next check so I can pay this mortgage off and then get where and blah blah. Eventually, I'll have this other thing, and then I'll have this other house, and then I'll but it'll just keep being the same thing. I'll have a new mortgage, and like again, the paycheck isn't the happiness, or the no debt, which is a great thing. Like that actually still isn't the total happiness. Don't just live to get the money. So you're at a certain spot with and have a bunch of stuff or whatever it is. It's not going to actually do it. There's about a lot of millionaires are depressed, right? So you find these people that win the lotto and they're depressed like crazy. Proof.
Yep.
All right, we on the last one.
Last one. God did not create us. Oh, I like this one. God did not create us to talk about them and not our goals. He's a no gossip guy, and I love that. Something that I really strive to not do. Because I mean, it's hard not to, like, when you're like, oh, you're just in a group of people and someone comes up and it's innocent at first, but then it comes into like, we're not making up rumors about them. We're not lying about them. We're just saying their flaws or mentioning the thing that they did that bothered us. Like those things shouldn't be in our conversation, even if it's not lying, even if it's not ruining someone's reputation outright. Maybe our speech should be edifying, or maybe he's saying we shouldn't even be talking about other people. We should be talking about how we can improve ourselves, and how we can work towards our community. You're good at this, and I love you're such a good witness to me about how to speak well of others, or not at all.
Yeah, when you're tired, you don't want to gossip. Just kidding. Thanks, hon. That's a nice compliment. Yeah, I think what I hear in this line is, not to be a busybody, right? But think about yourself and think about your goals. So let's apply this to real life. I'm putting you on the spot. How have you maybe done that? There was something that came up this week where you could have got distracted and said this, like focused on people. If God's calling you, like, hey, focus on this, that makes sense, right? For your job or whatever it is. But literally, it was almost like an obstacle. Like, that's really not actually your business. That's actually out of your realm. That's not what Melissa needs to. This is a problem with, like, I think the internet and having the phone all day. We get pulled in, like the news. I don't think we were meant to know all these things. Like, that's not even normal. Like, you almost sit here and like, it's unnatural to have this much information about the globe falling into my head right here, when I really should just worry about my job, maybe my wife, and maybe my kids, like
maybe
just your work, just your world. You're not in that world. When it's time to vote, I'll go vote or whatever I need to do. Like, but I'm not actually called to like worry about all these things. So let's take it back. Was there an obstacle where maybe almost pulled you into somebody else's business instead of focusing on yourself?
Yes, there are some things. So how would I say this? There are a lot of situations where things frustrate me because it causes me more work. And that's hard because I feel like I'm already working a lot. And so instead of focusing on what other people do or do not do, I need to remember that this is my mission and I'm here to work, and I just need to do it. And just pray that those other people, whatever, like maybe there's certain circumstances that I don't understand, but I really have to do that self-talk that says, and that's why St. Therese has been such an influence for me, to think of other people charitably and not to think about how they're inconveniencing me or creating me more work, but how they might need my prayers.
Yeah. It's that's well said. Something to absorb right there. So I've had this thought through my head over the years, like, And I'm not good at it, like applying it in life because I run into these snags all the time. What, that kid didn't do his work? I like literally helped them yesterday, and then they just picked up their phone and didn't do the rest, whatever it is. But like almost like being like a guy in like a maze, and you just like, all I can do is go do what's right in front of me. Okay, this is my business. All those other spots, they're not. And if I run into a wall and the Lord closes that way, I can't be like, oh, this wall and blah blah, what's going on over there? Like, if the Lord has shut it down, and in your instance, maybe it's like a flaw in the computer or whatever at work. Like, if you have a wall come up, it's like, all right, now what do I do, Lord? Do I have to worry about this more? Or are you trying to change my direction? Like, do I have to replan what I'm going to do with my students today? We have to go back 2 lessons because they're not getting it, and maybe it's my fault, maybe it's theirs, whatever it is. Like, I ran in the wall though. Now what's my business? Instead of getting all external about it, right? Like, okay, maybe now I turn this way in the maze, and like just like head down like a football player, and like, okay, which way now? I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, get in the zone, right?
yeah.
And remember your purpose.
And that's just the back to Anthony. It's just like worrying about your goals. Okay, so if my goal has changed, now what's my goal, Lord? Okay, that's what it is. Then this is what I'm gonna do. I didn't want to do this, but now this is what I'm gonna do. So yeah, that's my head down impression right there. So
yeah. So Anthony ONeal, man, he's just bringing it, as we said, helping us clarify some vision and just giving a lot of great insight on how to do life, to do finances, and really to be whole persons navigating through the human experience. So we're glad.
glad you joined us. I actually might reach out to Anthony ONeal. Okay, maybe we're not quite as big as him and his 100,000 followers or whatever he's got. I don't know what he's got, but a lot of views. It'd be funny though if we popped up. So you'd be like, "Hey, I saw Brian and Melissa before they got on the ONeal show," or maybe this way, maybe before ONeal gets on our show. Right?
Right. We would love to have him because what we want to do is just talk to people about real life, and he is raw. And I love that about him. I admire that about him. And I think that we could really reach a lot of people by having him, or at least sharing his thoughts and philosophies with y'all. So I'm feeling like we should close in a prayer.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that?
Sure. You want to lead us?
Yes, please. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Let's take a few moments to just breathe and calm our nervous system and give thanks for one thing today. God, there are so many things that we could be thankful for. We can be thankful for technology, that we can reach people through this medium. We're thankful for the clouds, the natures, other people that are just so beautiful, your beautiful creations. We thank you for the opportunity to live in a relationship with you and to receive your love. And I just ask that you would be with everyone who's viewing this now, who will view this in the future, those who may turn away but should view this. Lord, I just pray that you would guide them to fulfillment, that you would help them seek their purpose, and that ultimately they would find that we would all find our rest in you.
Yeah, and I just offer for the singles, Lord, may you console them, let them enjoy your grace in the moment, help them in their confusion, help them to grow as you would in this time, and to serve those around them as you would have them to do. And just thanks again for the resurrection being our hope, that we won't one day reach that heaven where all our goals, our full heart will be completely full. So we pray. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
All right. It's been great. Everyone have a great weekend. Leave us a comment if you need a prayer request. Also do that. And we'll be back.
Ciao, ciao. Thanks for joining, Kaylee. You rock.
Love that girl.